If you came out of 2020 healthy and alive, round of applause for you. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melonie. For those of you who are new here, I post lifestyle content. I'm also a third-year pharmacy student, so I post a little bit of that here and there sometimes. Before I get into today's video, let me first of all say Happy New Year to all of you guys. I wish you all a great 2021 because, girl, 2020 wasn't it, okay? For some of us, it wasn't it at all. But before we say goodbye to 2020, before we throw it in the past and treat it like a scorned ex, I know some of you never want to hear from 2020 again. You're like, thank you, next. Thank you, next. Before I jump and dive into 2021, I just wanted to share with you guys 10 things that I learned from 2020. So if you guys want to hear more about what I learned in 2020, stay tuned. So the first thing that I learned last year is how to be grateful. Now, I'm somebody who exercises gratitude on a daily basis. I keep a gratitude journal. After the disaster that we had last year, I feel like everybody is coming out of 2020 just a little bit more grateful than they usually are for the simplest of things. Luckily, my family wasn't heavily affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. I mean, things are a little bit rough back home. They still are. A lot of businesses were closed down. The economy is not as great as it used to be, but none of us were tested positive for the virus. Everybody has a roof over their heads, electricity is running, and we have food. So I mean, just being alive and being healthy, I am grateful. I was one of the lucky few. Nothing really changed for me other than the fact that I had to stay home. I'm still going to school. I'm now in my third year. My classes were shifted to an online platform. Even though I was dropped from my rotations, they found a way to place us into a site this year. And so I'm taking my rotations right now. My boyfriend has been working from home, and so we're still earning an income. And I'm just so happy because a lot of families can't say the same. A lot of families have lost their loved one. A lot of them has lost their homes, or they've had to move to a different area. And I'm just so happy, so appreciative, and so grateful that nothing really has changed. I am progressing, to be honest, other than regressing. And for that, I'm just thankful. For 2020, I'm grateful. Now, the second thing that I learned last year is how to say yes to things that scare you. I am a very confident person, but that little imposter syndrome of mine, and I mean, I've seen imposter syndrome all over social media, and I never thought I'd have it, but I'm a perfectionist. I like things to be perfect before I try it. And it cripples me sometimes. It prevents me from taking that first step and doing anything because I want it to be perfect, and it never will be. But last year, I have just realized that I need to push ahead and say yes to the things that scare me out of my wits. Everybody knows that your dreams aren't big enough if they don't scare you. So I guess I've done pretty big things last year, because everything that I've done, every position I've gone for, every opportunity that I have signed up for last year, they scared me a bit. So I'm just learning more and more to say yes, even if I'm afraid to do something, because I know that this is going to pay off in the long run. This is only making me bigger, better, and more confident. Now, the third thing that I learned last year is that you are your biggest investment. Let's say it again. You are your biggest investment. Now, everybody knows that I love to save my coins. I'm cheap. I am so cheap. I like to save money. And I feel like that is just the relationship that my family had with money, or has with money. We've never had money in an abundance. And so when we do get money, we hold on to it. We save it for a rainy day. And sometimes that means being mean to our own selves. But I've realized that money comes and money goes. And if you're putting it into yourself and making yourself better, then you're not wasting it. And it will come back. So for me right now, I'm taking student loan to go to school. I'm in a lot of debt, or I will be in a lot of debt, but that is for me to be a pharmacist. I will one day be able to make that back and pay that back 2-3 times fold. And so I've just said, hey Melonie, go ahead, put it in, put that money in, put that work in. I've also been putting in the time, the energy, and the effort into me. Now I want to look good. I want to take care of this vessel, this body that God has given me for a lifetime. It's the only one that I'll get, so I want to take care of it. So I get up early in the morning, or no matter how busy my day gets, I try my best to fit in an hour to work out. I go to the gym. I try to keep my body as fit as I can. It's not the best, it's not the fittest, but I try my best to keep it as best as I can. I try to eat a little bit healthier than I normally do. And I take some time to take care of myself, take care of my skin. Instead of spending and splurging on makeup, I've been splurging on the dermatologist. Instead of running off and buying a bag or shoes, I've invested a lot in some dental work last year, and I'm still on that dental plan because I want to look my best and I want to feel my best. And at the end of the day, I mean, it's you. Come on. Where are you going to spend that money, girl? You can not wake up tomorrow. Where's all that money going to go? So if you have it, spend it on you. If you have the time and the energy, put it aside for you. Put you first. The fourth thing that I learned last year is knowing when to say no. Now that's the hardest thing for me because I keep going. And every time somebody asks something of me, especially at school, I feel it's like the hardest thing to say no to them, because I feel like I'm building my CV, I'm building myself, I'm building my reputation. And if I'm somebody who turns down opportunities, I feel like I might never get them again. So I'm always trying to say yes and always trying to take on these roles and responsibilities and tasks because I know that I'm going to learn from them, and in the long run they're going to benefit me. But sometimes I need to know when to step back and just take a breather and say no and not have the FOMO, and say no and know that this opportunity is going to come back around, or a bigger opportunity is going to present itself. So yeah, we don't owe anybody any explanations. Sometimes we just have to say no without a reason and no without an explanation, and that's fine. It's fine for you to say no. The fifth thing that I learned is to not care too much about what people have to say about you. I mean, that's a little bit hard. I'm still learning how to do that, but I've just realized that people are going to talk regardless. They're going to talk if you do good, they're going to talk if you do bad. So why not just do what you want to do? And that is what I've had to do last year. There are a lot of things that, you know, usually I wouldn't have done. YouTube was one of them. I had waited so long. I had a few people in my inbox, in my DMs saying, Melonie, you should start a YouTube channel. I feel like I'd watch your videos. And then I have other people who they're constantly watching my stories. And when I started YouTube, they haven't subscribed. But that's fine and that's okay. And I've just had to learn to be fine and okay with that. People are they're not going to be on the same wavelength. And you can't care about what they think or what they're going to say. You have to do what you want to do for you. So that's what I've been doing. I don't care what anybody has to say about me. I just do me. And that's on what? Period. The sixth thing that I've learned from last year is that your feelings are not facts. And if you've heard it here first, I'm not the first person to say it. I've actually heard this in a podcast. I don't remember exactly who I heard it from, but when she said, your feelings are not facts, I felt it. I felt it deep in my soul, because a lot of times I get these emotions and it's so hard for me to step out of them because they feel so true. They feel so true to who you are. So now, every time I'm feeling especially a negative emotion, but when I'm feeling an emotion that I don't necessarily want to feel, I just remind myself that, Melonie, they're not facts. It doesn't make it true, and you're gonna get through it. You're gonna get over it. You're gonna get past this emotion. You're gonna probably be happy tomorrow. So don't dwell too much in it. And I've just had to learn that, listen, How you feel right now doesn't make it factual. That fear in the back of your mind is like the boogeyman. The boogeyman does not exist. You think it's under the bed. It prevents you from getting off the bed and going to the bathroom, and you'd rather pee that bed before you go out because you think it's there. It's the same thing with fear. It cripples us. It keeps us in the same place. You'd rather not step off because you're so scared that something's gonna happen when it probably doesn't happen. I've just learned to take my feelings and my emotions with a grain of salt and move it along. So building on what I just said about your fears are not facts, I've also learned to eliminate negative self-talk. I am my own worst enemy. I don't need enemies. I'm my own enemy. All right. I beat myself up all the time. Melonie, you're not good enough. You didn't do this right. You could have done this better, or somebody else is gonna get it. Or I tell myself the craziest things. I've had to learn to be kinder and gentler with myself. Melonie, it's okay. You're gonna get it the next time. Melonie, great job. You tried your best. Melonie, I'm proud of you. You've come a long way. Look where you were last year. I feel like if I just sat back sometimes and thought about all of the things that I did and congratulated myself, it would make it so much easier instead of beating myself up about what I didn't accomplish. For last year, I've just had to cut all of that. Every time a negative thought comes about where I'm about to bash myself for something, I retract. I speak to myself as though I am my own child. Melonie, you tried. And I feel like in nurturing myself, I'm preparing myself to nurture others. And I feel like I'll be better able to serve people when I'm feeling my best and I really and truly speak to myself in that way. So yeah, we're gonna eliminate all of that negative self-talk that we pound ourselves with daily. The next thing that I learned, I think I'm at number 8, is that it's okay to not be okay. And why am I even saying that? Why am I even sharing? Everybody knows that it's okay to not be okay. But I feel like, as I said, with me being so hard on myself all the time, I force myself to get out of a funk every day. Anytime I feel not like myself, I force myself out of it. And sometimes it's okay for you to feel like that. We just went through what was one of the worst years ever. And I feel like we have a right to feel the way that we feel. Every day we wake up and we see these memes on Instagram that if 2020 didn't bring out the hustler in you, you didn't have it in you to begin with. Blah, 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 blah. I feel like we're focusing on the wrong thing. If you came out of 2020 healthy and alive, round of applause for you. In the summer, I had all of these plans. I was gonna go on rotation. I was gonna go to Europe with my boyfriend and go home to Jamaica and enjoy myself. I was gonna be traveling and goals and all of these things. And I mean, I got dropped from all of my rotations. Europe got canceled. It's canceled then, it's canceled now, and it's gonna be canceled for a while. And I didn't get to go home. And every day I woke up not having anything to do because I made all of these big plans, and now what? What do you do with yourself? And in retrospect, I realized that I wasn't feeling like me. I was a little bit depressed. This is not to discredit people who were clinically diagnosed with depression, because I do have friends who were diagnosed during quarantine or while being quarantined. But I can now look back and say, Melonie, you weren't yourself. You weren't yourself, and it's because you were stuck at home. You didn't have your friends, you didn't have your family, and it was different. I just feel like 2020 was one of those years where it was fine for me to not be fine. And if I wanted to wallow in whatever it is that I was feeling, then it was okay. Now, the 9th thing that I learned from last year is to follow my heart. And it's so simple. But for a very logical person like me that likes to write down everything, write down my goals, plan everything, I feel like sometimes I just had to take a step back and what am I feeling here? And what do I want to do? And really just center myself, be quiet, listen to my heart, follow my heart, follow what it's guiding me to. I feel like my heart is going to guide me to what my passion is. I'm going to find something that I love. I think YouTube is one of those things that my heart led me to, because my mind would have never let me started YouTube. I would have found all of the reasons not to do it, but my heart was like, Melonie, just do it. You've loved this for so long. You've been invested in other people's YouTube careers and channels and everything that they do. Why not start it for you? So for last year, I've been following what this little organ, you know, behind here tells me what to do, and, you know, listen a little bit less to my brain. Now, the final thing on my list that I learned last year is how to live in the now. I mean, that is just self-explanatory. After sitting at home for 10 months, 9-10 months, it has just taught me that you have to live in the moment. Don't put off all of these things. If you're able to do it now, just do it. We live so much in the past and it makes us depressed, and then sometimes we look so much towards the future and it makes us a little bit anxious. But we need to live right now in this moment. Seize the moment. Enjoy your friends, enjoy your family, enjoy the things that you love. Find your passion. Do whatever it is that you've wanted to do, because as we all can see, things can change any moment. Anything can happen. I feel like I'm just waiting for the apocalypse right now and zombies to roam the earth, because after this whole thing, anything can happen. Anything can knock on wood, it's not gonna happen. Even though it's hard for me, I've just learned that you just need to enjoy yourself right now, because you don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. So that is me for 2021. I'm not gonna be worrying too much about anything. I'm going to try to seize whatever opportunity comes and enjoy myself in the moment that I have. So that's it, guys. Those are the 10 things that I learned last year, or at least the few that I want to share with you guys, because I mean, I've been on a journey of self-exploration, so I've really learned a lot. If you haven't already, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to join my family, and of course share it with me in the comments. So what you've been doing during this pandemic, what have you learned last year, what are you especially grateful for, and what are you looking forward to for 2021? I appreciate you guys for your support, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video. Bye.